Today we're going to talk about romantic qualities. So yesterday we identified literary devices. Today we're going to identify the romantic qualities within this poem. And just like when we looked at the literary devices, we're going to look at identifying, explaining, and discussing each of the romantic qualities. This is where that sheet of the 10 qualities of romanticism that I handed out to you will come in handy. Open it up so that you can look at those 10 qualities of romanticism, think about them in terms of this poem. So the first thing we're going to do is identify them. When we look at these, you have to find 3, but we're just going to start with 2. When you look at this and you read this poem, we've already read it a couple times, so it should be fresh in your mind. What 2 qualities of romanticism do you think are the strongest ones in this poem? And then we'll talk about those. 2 qualities. If you look at your list of 10 qualities of romanticism, you'll definitely see nature as inspiration. Okay, he's using nature here as inspiration, and imagination, using lots of imagination. So, which natural element is inspiring him? We see all kinds of natural elements in here. We see trees, we see breeze, we see clouds, we see the vales and hills, and we hear the waves. But the things that's inspiring him the most, it's comforting him, are the daffodils. We definitely see lots about the daffodils. And here are all different sorts of phrases that you could use to show how much he appreciates these daffodils. He sees them fluttering and dancing. They're as numerous as the stars that shine and twinkle in the Milky Way. There's so many of them that there's a never-ending line. 10,000 he sees at a glance. And then he goes on to say how wonderful they are. They outdid the sparkling waves in their glee, their happiness. A poet could not be but gay. There's no way he could be anything but happy when seeing them. He gazed and gazed. He didn't just look at them. Gazed and gazed on and on. What wealth the show to me had brought. So he's really, truly appreciating these daffodils and everything they did for them. Let me see this line here in the last stanza. It says, "For oft when on my couch I lie." We got completely away from the daffodils, right? Now he's in his room, laying on a couch. He's in a pensive mood. They flash upon that inward eye. Okay, that inward eye is referencing his imagination. He can use his imagination to see the daffodils in some way, shape, or form. And here he tells you how he uses his imagination. He wandered as lonely as a cloud. He sees the daffodils dancing in the breeze. Okay, and he tells you right here, when I'm in a pensive mood, they flash on my inward eye, and my heart with pleasure fills. Okay, all of those things talk about the imagination that he's using to see these daffodils. So how do they bring you to the main idea? Okay, what is the main idea of this poem? And let's think about it in those romantic qualities. He uses nature. Uses his imagination. He's inspired by nature. So what do we want to come away thinking in all of this? Why did he spend all this time sharing this experience? So think about this. Choose nature, choose imagination, and think about at the end what he said. Okay, so you could say, down here you see, the purpose of nature is to what? The purpose of the imagination is to think about what he tried to convey here. For oft, when on my couch I lie in vacant or in pensive mood. So I'm laying on my couch and I'm just sort of, off in la-la land thinking, they flash upon my inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. When you're laying around by yourself, that's when you use your imagination, right? And then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils. So he's feeling sort of pensive. He's maybe feeling a little bit down. And he gets this image of in his mind of these daffodils. And the sun shining and the waves crashing in the background and the breeze fluttering on his skin. What happens? He's uplifted by this whole thing. What's the main idea there? So when you go to discuss your romantic qualities, you have to find at least 3. We found 2. You need to look at your list, find a third one for this one. Okay? Identify it, explain it a bit, and then the discussion could be, how does it lead us to the main idea? For your next poem, we're going to read Kublai Khan.